Hi everybody, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch in Far West Texas. Going to do a vlog for December 10th, 2016. What I'm doing is, if you follow my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page at all, you might have seen me begging for help to move some rocks. Well, two of my friends offered to help me. They came up. It's only a half hour's work. We loaded the truck up. I've got probably 1,400 pounds of rock, or we put about 1,400 pounds of rock in the truck. You guys are sitting right on top of one flagstone that I'll show later, and another rock for the wall. But what we were doing is we were collecting this rock from that rock fall to put in the front door of the house. In other words, when you come in, that'll be the front entry, will be the rock. Now we're switching from primarily bottles to primarily rock, and we're doing that because that rock fall was, I believe the word is fortuitous. It fell down at the right time. I looked at it, I got beautiful rock here. So we're going to do as much of the house as we can in rock to get the house built, and I'm going to still do my low walls in bottles, and I'm still doing the greenhouse and finishing the stable and the chicken coops in bottles. But we are going to do the house in as much in rock because I know there's plenty of rock there. So I'm going to be unloading this rock. I'm going to be shaping some of it. Now the first one that I unloaded, I'm going to cut in a piece where I was chipping away at it. I may run that and me unloading these rocks at fast speed, just so you can kind of watch along with me. But I've got my safety glasses. Always use those when there's danger of something flying. I've got my rock hammer. If I need my chisels and my heavier hammer, they're up in the toolbox. I'm going to take off whatever pieces I don't like here in the truck. I'm going to roll the flagstones up close to the building, because all this rock will just sit in our way, and Debbie and I will trip on it. Most likely me will trip over them. So I'm going to try to set the rocks at least close to where we want them, and trim them if they need trimming or cutting. Now I'm also hoping today I have one bag of mortar left that has to last me till Wednesday, and I've got one mixer load of or enough mortar to make Portland to make one mixer load of mortar. So that one mixer load of mortar can set these rocks. So I'm hoping I can get to that today. But you know, it was rough enough moving these rocks. So we'll see where I go and follow along. Okay, I've got the rock all unloaded here. I know you're at a funky angle. I'm just looking at it right now. Oh, well, let me tilt my head. Anyway, the rock's all unloaded. Let me show you the rock, because when you look at it here, it doesn't look all that big, but let's get a couple close-ups of it, and I'll tell you what each rock's going to do. We'll kind of go from there, and hopefully I can get you straightened up. I didn't realize you were cocked at such a silly angle. So if you watched my video about stone masonry, I showed this rock out in the field saying this is the one I wanted. I don't even want to guess what it weighed, but I'm sure it was well over 300 pounds. There were three of us, and it was all we could do to get it in. This rock and this rock here are going to go... they're going to go on either side of the door down low. Then I'm going to put one not quite as big because I can't lift that high above them. And then we're going to do regular rock work. But let me put my foot here, give you an idea. That is a huge rock, and it's about 8 inches thick. And so those are verticals. That's actually part of the rock wall. Now over here, I have 3 rocks I brought. This one here, I actually was able to split it. I found a rock with a crack in it, and I was able to split it and get this really nice piece of flagstone here. This one of my friends that helped me actually climbed way up the rock fall, and we knocked this one down, and it didn't break. And then this one I brought a few days ago. Then over here, with my saw on it. And there were 2 more that we just grabbed. Those are the ones that'll go directly above the giant ones. So, what I'm doing now is these are flagstones that are going to go directly in front of the doorway of the house. Now the doorway, the center of the door is right where the left end of that sign starts. That's the center of the 6-foot French door. So these 3 flagstones are going to be right there in front of the door. Now I wanted a nice tight fit, so I cut on this one. I cut a lip off, an edge off of it. Cut an edge off of this one. Then this has a low spot in it and a big chip, and since it's going to be in the front door, I didn't want them there, so I'm about to cut those off, and I'm going to let you watch how I cut and break these rocks loose. So I'm going to set you up and we'll do that. So I've zoomed in on this rock and put you guys quite a ways away because of the rock dust. We're going to cut here, and then we'll break them loose. Safety glasses as always, because rock chips are just as sharp as steel. And if you don't think so, just ask any mastodon or mammoth out there, because that's how they were rendered extinct, was from hunting with stone tools. Have to take a quick break here, but this is a diamond blade that I've used for cutting the limestone. This rock is a lot tougher than the limestone, but still it's cutting at about the same speed as the limestone. But just a diamond masonry blade. I'm not using a wet saw because this is a rustic flagstone patio floor. And it's bent. Now then, this section of the rock is this is the hardest rock I have cut to date. This was just unbelievably hard. The motor of my circular saw got extremely hot and the blade got hot. But I did get it. So we're going to go ahead and crack this off. The way I do it, and I am not a journeyman mason, I am a self-taught mason, so I may be making mistakes. The way I do it is I take my chisel and I'm going to try to weaken the joint a little bit by just whacking on the cut that I just made. Some. That. And then whack it with the hammer. And you can see it kind of nice, and it made a nice clean break there. I've got another little piece here that I can use for something. Now I've often used the term, or the phrase, my plans are dynamic when I'm building, and that simply means that they're subject to change. And they're subject to change because a lot of times you're dealing with native rock, or you're dealing with something that you didn't anticipate, or you get a better idea, or better material. So initially I was going to take the 2 that I cut first and butt them up one next to the other. They didn't quite span the distance of the French doors. The French doors are going to be 72 inches, and they didn't quite span it. When I moved this and looked at it and saw that it needed to be cut anyway, putting this between the 2 more than spans the 72 inches, and I think it actually will set it off a little bit better. So let's try to make this part fall off. There we go. And now I'm ready to put this all together. Well guys, let's go ahead and set these rocks. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to get your bed real nice and wet, because you don't want that leaching the moisture out of your mortar. You also want your rocks nice and wet, so you don't want them leaching the water out. Now because we've just got a clear bed here of sand, which is, this is all hard packed adobe, so I don't need to do any more prep to this than what I've already done. The walkway this is attaching to I did 6 years ago, and it hasn't moved at all, and this was all the prep I did to it. So we're wetting this down real nicely, and then I'll show you what the way I was taught to do a walkway. Now of course this is a vlog and I'm not showing you how to build a walkway. All I'm doing is setting these stones so that they're not trip hazards for Debbie and I. That's what this vlog is showing you, is how I start. Now the funny thing is, the fellow that taught me, his name was Larry Harris. The fellow that taught me how to do this, when I asked him how do I do a walkway, Larry said, just take the stone, set it in the mortar, push it down. Just push it down. And he must have said it 30 times, and it never really clicked with me that all you do is you set your mortar, put the stone in, and push it down. Push it down, level it off. I've got my rubber mallet here to do this with. I've got 3 rocks to set, 3 stones. And what I'm going to do is set the lightest one, which happens to be the middle one, first. And again, just like Larry said, just push it down in, just push it down in. So, my center line, I'm going to eyeball my center line. Now then, I'm going to pick this rock up because it's the one I can actually pick up. The other 2 I really can't. I'm going to set it in the mortar, find where I put my level, and I set the level there. That is set perfect. Now, I have to go get my bullet level. That is perfect in terms of being level with the flagstones in here, which are the exact height of the floor throughout the whole thing. So this is now level with the floor in the house, and this is a patio, a well-covered patio, so we don't have to worry about water drainage. But we need the bullet level to check the right left. And in this case, let's get the rubber mallet. In this case, I have a very, very slight high edge right here. That leveled that out. Now, did it throw the main out? No. That rock is perfect. Don't mess with it. Don't do anything to that rock. Now this batch of mortar that I just made, I don't have a tremendous amount left, so I'm going to set the biggest rock next, which sits right next to this one, and should have it should have a 1/2 inch mortar gap here, which is for the way I work, it's a very narrow gap. So let's set up the mortar in here. Well, this project is done. I finished it. I didn't go into a hell of a lot of detail for you all because we're not shooting a video on how to do a flagstone patio. I will be doing a flagstone patio at some time in the future, but I've got a lot more that we're going to be doing over the next 3 weeks. But I did want to shoot this as a vlog to show you kind of sort of how I did it, but mainly to get these huge rocks out of the way. So let me get behind the camera and I'll show you what I've done. Now there it is with my hanging chair off to the far right. There's those big rocks. The one I cut in half is in the middle. Then the wall is actually going to come out to about that that mortar seam there. And so what you'll actually see will be the three that we we're cutting on. Also, notice the bed there, how thick that bed is with mortar. I made that bed thick, and I'll have to make that bed thick all along here to support the weight of the wall that's going on it. But there we are. We're done. No more a trip hazard. I've got to move that rock there, and this big giant one's going to get a little closer to the wall. But at least I got rid of the trip hazard and have us started on the patio with these big flagstones. So with that, hey, it's Robert Earl along with Cascade the Wonder Dog out here at the Eco Ranch in Far West Texas. I'll see you again soon. Hi. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my video. I'm going to be putting this little tag at the end of every video. You know, when Debbie and I started this journey into sustainability in 2002, the idea was to preach to other baby boomers that were in their last 10 years of work on how they can retire with dignity. Well, it stretched out for so many reasons over 15 years, and here we sit. The baby boomers that are older than me are 70-ish or pushing 70, and not all of them are in this kind of shape, so they can't get out and do it. So we're looking at the X and the Y generation. Let's not call them generations. We're just looking at the younger folks now and saying, hey, you can do it too. You can live with dignity. And I want to finish this project. I'm sitting here in the chicken coop, the unfinished chicken coop, right now. Now, Debbie and I live comfortably on our Social Security, but we can't finish the project using the Social Security. I need help from people. That's why I put a donate button up in the upper corner of our main page of the channel. You can donate there to help me finish this project by making a donation through PayPal there. You can also make a direct donation to us through PayPal at robert@singingturkeys.com, which I'm going to put in the runner here. And mainly what I need to do is I need lumber to finish this roof with, and I need mortar. That's not mortar, but I need Portland. Portland is the big thing we need. I figure I need about 300 more bags of Portland. They're $10 a bag, so every $10 buys me one bag of Portland and keeps me busy for a good solid day. And I need your help, if you're in a position to help. Because I can't do it alone. I can only buy a few bags a month on our Social Security. So I put this little tag in there to ask if you have the ability to help, help. If you don't, hey, keep watching the videos. I'm sure you can pick up something. And help me out also in another way. And that is to pass around this channel to people you know that might be interested. Anyone you know that might be interested. Even a couple of billionaires that might want to donate a little bit of money to help me finish the project. But I need a little help with it because 300 bags of Portland is a little expensive, and that's what it's going to take to finish this. And I've got to run all this roof. I have the roofing. Somebody in our family gave us the money to buy all the roofing. So I have all the roofing. I just don't have the lumber to put the roofing on with. So that's why I'm putting this tag at the end of all my videos. If you're in a position to, give me a hand. If you're not in a position to, hey, pass the channel on to other people. Maybe they'd be interested, and maybe some of them might want to help a little bit too. Every 10 bucks brings me a day closer, and you know, let's say about 30-35 stones closer to finishing. Thanks a lot for your help and for watching. There'll be other videos coming.